You're listening to Catalyst Talks, conversations with change agents, outliers, superheroes, and truly conscious leaders modeling what it is to be an unstoppable force for good in this world. What lit these catalysts on fire to do their work, and what nuggets of wisdom can they share with a world literally on fire? This podcast is for you who cares deeply and seeks to catalyze the world. I'm your host, Stephanie Trager. I'm a consciousness catalyst and soul coach to superstar change agents in business, leadership, and life. In this podcast, I wear an eclectic mix of hats, including earthkeeper, healer, mindset coach, lawyer, business, sustainability, and impact strategist. My intention is holding space for higher purpose, peak wellness, and soul mastery so we can live in harmony with ourselves, each other, and nature. The whole idea of Catalyst Talks in these conversations is to awaken consciousness, unlock higher purpose, and learn what it really takes to catalyze change in that scale. Subscribe to our new podcast and help us grow. We're aiming to reach 1 million people at least in 2020. Let's wake up the world together. Hello and welcome back to Catalyst Talks podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Trager, and today I'm so excited to be diving into part 5 of the Unlocking Higher Purpose series, and that is deeper impact in business. Why I'm so inspired to be incorporating this topic into the series is because how we integrate, how we actualize all of the stuff that we've been talking about before is through our business. And business might be how you hold space in a role, in a job, in a particular organization or entity or some, however you're working in the world, or whether you have your own business and are looking to create change that way, whether you have a mission-driven movement, a nonprofit, an organization of any sort. But it's really how we move through the world and do business. Business includes leadership. Business is absolutely about leadership because what we do, we're modeling for other people. We're modeling for those who work with us, for us, and who engage with us, other vendors. Our values and how we take a stand for what we believe is, in alignment with how we believe. That's a huge part of creating deeper impact and leadership. So far, we have covered 4 parts in the Unlocking Higher Purpose series: speaking your truth, identity and soul, peak wellness and purpose, and today is part 5, deeper impact and business. And I hope that if you're listening to this series, you're seeing how each one is building on the next. If not, it's okay. You can do them out of order and they still make sense because we get what we need. You ever just kind of open something up and say, what do I need to hear today? And then you listen and boom, there's the nugget that you need. So I hope that there's a nugget in here that you need right now. One of the things that's inspiring me about this episode is this is a lot of the work that I've been doing in the world for the last, 14 years. And it really is around, and actually in my own life too, we always want to be doing the deeper work in our own life to align to our values. But deeper impact is about really getting clear on what your values are and getting clear about where you might be out of alignment with your values in however you're living, but especially in how we do business. A deeper impact. Let's dive into deeper impact in business. As we awaken and we come home to who we really are, we start to see the world in a different way. And so this is not really about strategy, business strategy. Yes, there's always business strategy. But once we awaken and we come home to ourselves, for those of you who've already successful in business, this is about coming home to who you really are, remembering what matters, remembering that you are a soul here having an experience and your soul has an agenda for you in this lifetime. And once you start to align to that, it's not necessarily like this goes back to the identity part. It's not necessarily what you do, your profession, your title, but as we awaken and come into who we really are and come into the deeper way of seeing the world and how we're impacting everything around us, we start to realize like, wow, there comes a point where you can't ignore it. There comes a point where you're like, wow, I really care about this, but I feel like I'm unable to make a difference or I'm unable to change the way I do my day-to-day work because, it's out of alignment with this thing, but I have to do this. This is my work. Well, we come to a point where we say, no, there's a solution for this. And what I mean by this is like when we're living out of alignment with our values, either it's working for a company that we don't align with, or we have a way that we have to do something for clients that we don't align with, then that is a signal to us. Once we feel the out of alignmentness, we have a choice and we can either choose to believe that we can't change either ourselves or the company or the business or the deal, or we decide we can and we think about solutions that we could bring to the table. And that is what this is about. That's what this episode is about. It's like, what solutions can we bring to the table to change the way we're doing things, to change the way we are living in this world and doing business, to change capitalism, right? Because that's what business is. It's capitalism. And capitalism certainly needs a makeover, a do-over, or to be completely demolished and rebuilt in a different way that is sacred and involves reciprocity and really does have a sustainable impact that allows everyone to thrive. When we come home to who we really are and we remember our gifts in a different way and we start to see the world in a different way and we start to connect more dots on how we're impacting everything through, I do this, I'm impacting that, I do that, I'm impacting this. Once we start to connect those dots and expand our consciousness and not only seeing the world for what it is on this like sort of literal plane, as we discussed in Soul Mastery on the last episode, when we start to expand our consciousness and see things from a different multidimensional aspect, we see how we fit into the scheme of everything and how that we can create new things. We can make up a different way to do things. So this deeper impact in business is about stepping back and saying, where am I just going along with what is because I think and believe that this is the way it's done? And where am I able to actually change it? Where am I actually able to create something new and do it a different way, or seek out whether or not it's being done differently? Maybe I just haven't been aware of that because I haven't been looking. And that is what deeper impact's about. So how I look at this is saying, like, what do you care about? What do you care about, and how are you living in your day-to-day life, and you're doing business, and are you impacting that thing? Are you actually creating a measurable impact or contributing to a solution to the problem that you see in the world? We can create a new paradigm where all of our business and all of our dealings and the way we do our life and create wealth and abundance is through creating solutions to problems that we care about, or at least aligning to our values, to things that are already in alignment with what we care about. And we want to know why we're doing it. Obviously, yes, we might care, but we want to know why we're contributing to some solution. Are we just giving money to it, which is great? Are we giving money? Are we investing? Are we donating? Are we giving our time to solve a certain problem? And we want to know why. Is this actually coming from a place of, this is part of my purpose? This is part of my, this is really part of my mission here on earth. Are you contributing to a solution as kind of a side thing, but it's not integrated into your work or the business that you're doing? Because that's where this is the opportunity to really start to link up and create our businesses, create our roles or jobs, whatever it is that you're doing, to have an impact, to have that deeper impact that you seek. Time we all step into our empowered selves and say, I'm the one who's going to solve this problem. I'm the one who's going to create the movement. Where's the opportunity in what I'm doing now? Or how can I create the opportunity around me? And it doesn't have to be all in at once. It doesn't have to be this intense, taking the blowhorn and starting a mission wherever you are. It could literally just be stepping back and starting to do that inquiry about, what are your values? What do you deeply, deeply care about? Where do you feel like there's a gap in how you're living and working and what you're contributing to on a daily basis through your work? Where do you find a gap with what you really care about? And is there an opportunity to create a wealth paradigm around that solution? For example, it doesn't have to always be a wealth paradigm. It can also be a solutions-based paradigm that involves your day-to-day work. And there's so many creative business models sprouting up right now that are allowing us to see it's possible. It is possible to continue to be the professional that you are and to be contributing to global solutions or even local solutions to our world's greatest challenges. So we start off with getting clear, which at this point in the journey, I've offered some techniques in the previous episodes in this series to really start getting clear on what's yours to do. What is yours to do in this lifetime here now? Or what is yours to do in this epoch, this moment in time where the world is in transition? The world, we're actually living in a time of such great opportunity because there's a lot of money and systems for that money to be deployed towards solutions. A lot of people want to do good, and a lot of people who have amassed wealth or who have access to great sources of capital want to put that money towards good. And there's an entire system that is designed for this. And so there's no reason to think, well, I need more capital, I need money, where am I going to get it? No one's going to invest in this or that. It is a great time of opportunity right now, and it's for all people. You might be starting with absolutely nothing and think, how can I have an impact? Oh my gosh, I have nothing. I just have this job and I don't even make enough money to like pay my rent and to do, or to feed my family. But if that's you, then this is an invitation to create an hour of your life in the next week or today, and pull out some time where you sit with yourself and you say, what is it that I care about? What can I do? Where are my beliefs hindering me from actually creating a solution? Or you might be amassed in your multi-million dollar empire and you just have no time, and you think that there's absolutely no way that you can turn the ship right now to actually be creating impact instead of creating, positive impact, and instead of creating problems. So absolutely, you too, carve out an hour. And if you need help, reach out to me, but carve out an hour and think about it. Think about how your beliefs might be limiting your contribution to solutions instead. How might your beliefs be cutting off your values from aligning with your day-to-day work, and how you can be contributing to solutions? Because so much of what we do on a day-to-day basis is a function of our beliefs in a certain paradigm that we're colluding with. And this belief, it's capitalism at its, the capital, there's great things about capitalism as it is, and there's really, really bad things. But the problem is that those entities with the most power and most money that are driving capitalism now are contributing to problems, not solutions. Even if they have a silo that's like, yeah, we're going to do good over here. In the big scheme, we need a massive, epic tectonic shift in the way capitalism is unfolding. And that's going to start with all of us individually and how we're doing business, and how we show up at work, and how we show up in our business and our deals, and who we choose to deal with, and what vendors we're using in the supply chain for whatever we're sourcing in our business. There's so many opportunities to always choose which one is having the impact, which one is more aligned with my values. And what if you did create a 30-day exercise where every single thing you do in your business, you're going to just sort of think about it in terms of, how am I contributing to the paradigm of extraction, and how could I be contributing to a paradigm of regenerative solutions to our world's biggest problems, or to the things that you care about. So there's a lot of ways to do that. And again, I have a framework, a model, a system, a method for thinking about this. I'm going to share this with you. First, you start thinking about, well, what industry are you in? What's yours to do? What do you feel really called to? What do you care about? And start thinking about what could you do differently? Just off the bat, what could you do differently? And when you start to think about that, there's a whole lot to unpack. But what I want to give you here is also a framework that you can use to apply and think about. This is what I go deep into with people in my work. And it's something I was like, should I be doing this on the podcast? Yeah. All of these Unlocking Higher Purpose series episodes have a bit of a framework for you to think about the topic. And I want to do that with you here in Deeper Impact in Business. So start to think about the thing that you care about. And the first step is defining the problem, defining the solution. And when I say that, I'm talking about really using a different sense, a different dimensional inquiry, because when we look at things always from like on their face, we often are applying the definition in the worldview from which we're coming from. And what I mean by that is this. The word sustainability, for example. I always start off with it. People say, well, we want to be more sustainable. I want to do this more sustainably. How can we? We first have to define sustainability. What does it mean for that person? So for you, like, what does it mean? If you say, I want to have a bigger impact, define what that means. What does impact mean to you? I want to be more sustainable. Define what that means to you, because how it is defined, typically, it depends on the worldview of the person or entity defining it. So sustainability in a company like Chevron has a very different definition than sustainability to a company like Pepsi. And that has a very different definition than a company or an organization that is working to redefine capitalism, for example. Another one is ESG, environmental, social, and governance. These are factors that investors are taking into account when thinking about investing in companies. How is the company doing in terms of the environment? How are they doing socially? How is their governance? And there's a lot of different factors to look at in there to come to conclusions about whether the company is sustainable, or how it falls on the ESG scale. And that helps investors make decisions about whether they want to invest. Now, ESG, let's define it. Again, defined in different worldviews, it has a different definition. And so for me, it's really important when I'm working with, say, an advisor, a financial advisor, and I say, what does ESG mean to you? And I hear what they think, and I ask a few questions and inquire, and I know that they're not defining it the same way I am. And so therefore they can't really be my agent. They can't really represent and think for me and make decisions for me because they are defining it in a different way than me. So this is super important, is to define that which the thing that you care about, your impact, the deeper impact that you're having, whether again it's sustainability, whether it's, it's different per industry, for every industry. So I don't want to overlay something here, but even regenerative, even circular economy, even investing in women. I have had conversations with financial wealth management firms that invest in women, and that's their thing. And so they are attracting women or people who care about investing in women, and they have funds or access to investments that are serving certain goals for investing in women and women's leadership and women and girls. And I have asked a question. So do you invest in any extractive companies like oil or mining in South America or Africa? The answer was, I don't know about that. I think we do, but that's, we're always using this gender lens, and we're investing in women and da 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 da. And to me, if you're following with me, the definition of investing in women means you're connecting more dots. Okay, so this is a consciousness thing. Like once you're on that spectrum of consciousness and coming home into yourself, and you're connecting the dots on everything, you're seeing that, well, an extractive company that's investing in oil extraction, for example, in the Amazon is 99.9% likely to be impacting women and girls in the Amazon in a very bad way. And so that, if you're not connecting those dots, to me, you are not really defining it the same way as me, and we're not aligned. So I'm not doing business with you. That's the idea here. So get really clear and define that which you are trying to impact, and dig deep and inquire, and it might not be all the way deep right away, but it's just a journey. This is an iterative process of continuing to connect more dots on how we're impacting everything, because everything is everything. And we want to really get clear on, are we actually aligned with our values, even though we think we are? So continuing to do that inquiry. And first, it might be that you're just not contributing to the harm. Then it might be that you're actually aligned with your values and it feels good. Then it could be that you're actually contributing to solutions. And that is a different thing altogether. It is not always easy. It's really not. I'm not saying I'm there. I'm saying this is what we want to be working towards, because that's what deeper impact really is. So number one is define. And the second one is align. So align is to really, once you've figured it out, then it's, how do I get on a page here? What are my choices? This is kind of where you make the decision about one or two things you can do differently. And it doesn't have to be huge. These could be small things, baby steps, or it could be all in. What can you do differently in your business, in your work, in how you do money, in how you're investing your money, in how you're choosing and selecting vendors, and how you are even focusing the purpose of your business. So this is where we align to what we actually believe in, instead of getting clear on the value system. And there's a process for that as well. And then aligning, like the actualization of the business, of the work, aligning it with your values. The third part is design. Here we are. This is strategy. So then you get into the strategy phase of, actually, how am I going to do this? How are we going to execute on this? And then we get to integrate. Again, this is very similar to the last sort of process that I gave you, because there's always an integration phase where you're like, okay, how is this going to work? How is this working? And then you come back and in that integration process, you say, is it working? And where can we close the gaps? Can we be more aligned? And then the last one is activate, where this is where we take it to the next level. And it's always a beautiful thing, because what I see happening is, once you dive into this process, you realize, holy cow, there's so much opportunity. There's so much financial opportunity here to actually succeed and solve problems. Not just the financial opportunity, but there's so many people who want to be working on these things together with us. And this is where we kind of find our partners, and we collaborate, and we activate the mission, the journey, the purpose, the impact, and we take it to another level. So it's define, align, design, integrate, and activate. That's my process. And this was actually originally part of a workshop and training I was doing called the Sustainability Mindset Shift. And this is really helping organizations and teams and business owners get clear on how they can actually see what they're doing differently. And this is really what it comes down to. It's not that it's hard. Most of what I just shared with you is about mindsets. It's just about mindsets and beliefs and shifting the way we think about the world. And that's how we create a new paradigm. Deeper impact in business is about really creating a new paradigm. And we're all being part of that. If you're listening to this, you're part of the paradigm shift. The definition of a paradigm is a set of rules, beliefs, or assumptions by which a group of people or society live. Again, my name of my company is called Intentional Paradigms, because we either live and collude with the paradigm that is, or we create our own intentional paradigm. So a paradigm is a set of rules, beliefs, or assumptions by which a group or society lives. And the definition really includes mindsets and beliefs, because it's a set of rules, beliefs, or assumptions. And those rules, beliefs, and assumptions create a mindset. A set of beliefs is a mindset. So what we want to do is always look at, well, how does this paradigm, what is this thing built on? It's built on a bunch of mindsets. A bunch of mindsets come from a worldview. It's how you see the world, and then how we agree on how we're going to do this world. And this is all part of perception, right? How we perceive the world. And perception is what forms our beliefs. What we see, we believe is there, we believe is true, we believe is right. So what we want to do as part of this define, align, design, integrate, activate process of creating deeper impact in our business and how we do our lives is to start really getting clear on what paradigm do you want to be living in? What paradigm do you want to be contributing to? How do you want to do that with your business and having a deeper impact? And how do you really get clear on what beliefs and mindsets that you have that are actually contributing to the paradigm, to how you live and how you do business? And what if you shifted those mindsets and beliefs to include possibility of contributing to solutions, of actually being part of the change in a bigger, deeper way that actually allowed you to be more aligned and happy and fulfilled and abundant? That's where we're going. So that's what deeper impact in business is all about. And I just challenge you to take a moment, step back, think about how this is landing for you. Think about your work in the world and how you might take this, align it, activate it, integrate it, design differently, think, align differently, and really define what it is you're trying to change. What does it mean to you? So thank you for being with me here on this episode of Catalyst Talks podcast. In the 5th part of the Unlocking Higher Purpose series, Deeper Impact in Business, I invite you to check out the other episodes in this Unlocking Higher Purpose series. And if you would like to sign up for the workbook, the questions that go with this so that you can have a deeper process yourself, it's free. You can go to stephanietrager.com and sign up there. All of the links will also be in the show notes to how you can engage and take this deeper. And I look forward to hearing how this landed for you and what your next steps are to create deeper impact in business. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Catalyst Talks. Stay tuned for what's up next, and please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. You'll find those links at catalysttalks.com. Join us. We continue this conversation on social media, and if you'd like to reach out to me privately, you can send me a message at stephanietrager.com. Your attention here means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.